that we use this opportunity very well and don't get distracted by comments and pettiness, because this is what we have fought for in the last 3 decades. I thank you very
much. Thank you. Thank you. His Royal Highness AZCI Ifumanya, who wanted to raise a point of order. Please do so.
Mr. Chairman, my name is...
Point of order.
It's point of order, Mr. Chairman.
Yes.
I'm His Royal Highness Eze.CI Lomwanya from Southeast. Order 14, number 4. I just want to hide on that to do the correction. When the last lady, the lady before the last lady, she said about Ugeze, talk about the title Ugeze. I want to make the clarification. That title Ugeze is a special title for a wife of a king. Nobody else uses it. It's a title, Ugeze is a title, just like Lolo is a title for a wife of a chief. So she cannot say she's an Ugeze. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Okunrounmu, Senator Femi. Okunrounmu, Senator Femi.
Senator Femi Okunrounmu.
Yes.
I represent the South.
Microphone, please. Yes.
I represent the Southwest. Mr. Chairman, fellow delegates, the President, in convening this national conference, has demonstrated uncommon courage and a deep commitment to the harmonious unity of our peoples. He urges us to relaunch the country in recognition of the fact that we have derailed. And indeed, we have derailed from the trajectory of growth and rectitude and fallen into that of moral and economic decline. While our youths are justified in blaming their elders for this malaise, it is useful for them to also know that Nigeria has not always been this uninspiring. Our country has not always harbored so many cheats and liars, cultists and ritual killers, rapists and kidnappers, money worshippers and religious bigots. Our leaders have not always been so generally perceived as habitual, violence-prone election riggers and self-serving treasury looters. All these vices of today are the cumulative legacies of the misguided policies of successive military rulers and their civilian collaborators since 1966, starting from the truncation of federalism through the sectionally skewed creation of a multiplicity of states beyond the initially justifiable and balanced 12 states of Gowon, to the introduction of the so-called presidential system of government, which now enables a one-man ruler in our states to personalize all state resources and loot the treasury as he pleases with impunity. If Nigeria is to return to the path of growth and wholesome values, we must wipe away all the negative imprints of military rule. We must return to federalism and a balanced federal structure. The center must devolve powers to federating units which are large enough to effectively wield the powers to be devolved. The present 6 geopolitical zones or the original 12 states created by Gowon are ideal for this purpose. Furthermore, if corruption is to be curbed and accountability restored to governance, we must jettison the so-called presidential system and return to the parliamentary system, under which our nation set the pace in growth and development, even for today's Asian tigers. Finally, I wish to advise this conference not to clamp itself under constraints that were not imposed by the President. The outcome of our deliberations need not go to the National Assembly. To send them there will defeat the goal of building a new, just, and equitable society, because the National Assembly itself is one of those institutions which, as presently constituted, is heavily skewed in favor of some sections of the country and against others. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you very much. Okoli, Professor Ambrose. Okoli, Professor Ambrose.
Mr. Chairman and colleagues, my name is Professor Ambrose Abalike Okoli, an elder statesman from the North Central Zone. I'm a professor of accounting and dean of Faculty of Management Sciences, University of Jos. Mr. Chairman, I am not going to talk accounting today. It's not going to be about money. It's not going to be about debit and credit. I'm going to talk about the plight of my people in the North. I want to inform Mr. Chairman and delegates that the minorities in the North do not understand the meaning of justice, equity, and fairness as captured on page 10 of Mr. President's address because of the high level of impunity. This impunity has endangered all the minorities in the North, and we are all dehumanized. It is only in this part of the country now that a superior tribe can arm itself to the teeth, invade the smaller tribe, wipe them out, and push their cows to that place without any repercussion. And in other civilized countries of the world, a single loss of life is a subject of rigorous investigation until the culprits are found and punished. But where hundreds are massacred among the northern minorities, all we hear is that the act is by the unknown gunmen, and the matter is therefore closed. I want to say that a case in point here is of the Agatu local government of the Idoma-speaking area of Benue State. This particular local government has been under siege for more than 1 year now, and more than 1,000 lives have been lost, all by the unknown gunmen. In addition to other cases of unfairness, Mr. Chairman, I want you to know that even when states are created and local governments are created, we again create other laws that suffocate the more minor of the minorities. Therefore, in the new Nigeria of our dream, enough provisions must be made to guarantee the rights and aspirations of the minorities at all levels. If this is, and this we can do by creation of more states, local governments, and entrenching rotation of executive positions in the states and local governments. That would be a solution. I want to lend my voice to the people that spoke about religion and the state. Religion and state do not need to be merged together. In fact, in the classical Europe, it was a combination of the two, and modern thinkers now say it is not correct because their missions are different. Religion is emphasizing life hereafter, while state is now emphasizing today. So why do you put them together? And I want to submit that states should hand off religious affairs except providing ordinary regulations. If this is done, I think the conflict between the religious bodies will be removed and will be better off for it. And even the essence of religion...
Please be landing by now.
The essence of religion will be better captured when they are allowed to develop at their own pace and at their own level. I want to submit too that religious worship houses should not be built near highways. Somebody in search of salvation should not block other people's movement on the highway. So, Mr. Chairman, I thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. OKUONU, Chief Jeremiah. OKUONU, Chief
Thank you, Mr.
Jeremiah.
Chairman. My name is High Chief Jerome OKUNYI. I represent the retired intelligence officers. Mr. Chairman, I just make a small comment on Mr. President's speech. One, it's a good speech. Secondly, we seem to have glossed over a very serious injunction Mr. President gave this confab. He rested the job of legitimizing our decisions on us, and we've not addressed it. He made it very clear that we are the ones that will find ways to ensure that our decisions are given the central and constitutional, the legal and constitutional backing to shape the present and future of our nation. I think we should not wait till we finish before we address this, or it will be too late. Mr. Chairman, you may have to add it in your plans. How do we do it? He did mention referendum. It's our job to push for this referendum. Thank God we have so many retired speakers, presidents of Senate, legislators. Let us unleash them to go and start this job. And a committee may have to look at it. We have to start now and not when we have finished. That should have been the end of my comment, but I have time. So let me enter where I would normally have left for the committees. I like to talk on youth and joblessness. Mr. Chairman, if you can make a place better, leave it the way you found it. The elders here, please, this is your last bus stop. Those of us who are near 70 and above 70, it's our last bus stop. When you are about to die in African culture, you call your children and tell them the truth for once. This is our chance to tell our children the truth. I guess that's why the president gathered us here. It's no longer time to lie. It's the time to tell them what went wrong. Confess. In Latin language, we say, you now go to the mea culpa, mea maxima culpa. This is time to confess all we have done wrong and give the youth who are employed to listen more. You won't have the chance to hear these people again. Listen so that you can build the country we are about to leave to you. Mr. Chairman, if we can only reduce the cost of governance, then maybe we can release money to take care of the youths. If we can only reduce the Senate and the House of Representatives and downwards from what it costs us, if we can only reduce the cost of governance on the state level. And for those of us who went to universities early 64, 65, we saw this, your golden days. They were not golden.
Please wind up.
Find out why we left them. Why did we leave this parliamentary system? It failed us before we left it. The answer is not to go back there. If this presidential has failed, let's not find what we can take something different. Let's not just drop one and carry the other.
Thank you very much.
Tell the truth. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Adele, Dr. Rotimi, and Oladele, Dr. Rotimi.
Mr. Chairman, my name is Dr. Rotimi Oladele, representing the professional group as the president of Nigerian Institute of Public Relations. The president has acted as a public relations person by building bridges of balance, bridges of responsibility, and bridges of credibility and patriotism for the nation. But it's left for us to build on these. And by so doing, we need to stop the evils we have identified. We need to correct the evils we have identified. We need to prevent future evils. And if we are to do this, we need to actually discontinue those members who are intentional damagers, who are also using instigated damagers, and who are using ignorant damagers. Majority of the people we are referring to as Boko Haram or whatever they are, some of them are innocent damagers and teleguided damagers who only want to answer the call of those who knew why they were doing so and using them. But the reasons why we found ourselves here is because we have left the causatives and we are running after derivatives. We have already left, we have already monetized politics. if we demonetize politics and we know the salaries of our public office holders, irrespective of their positions, maybe the Ghana must go era, we go. If also we decide to remove immunity and we can no longer have those who steal our money walking tall on the streets, maybe we have money for education. And also, if we pursue causative infrastructure that will generate other derivatives according to resources and endowment of God for this nation, solar energy will not be marketed to us by South Africa. That is insulting. That's what they came here last month to do. And also, biotechnology will be another source of energy, like solar will be, like coal will be, so that we stop fighting about oil, all of us. Then education. We lost education, we chose literacy. There was a good time in this country when from primary school, everybody would do needle work, you would do home economics, and you get out of primary school, you are able to fend for yourselves. But today, we have one secondary school, one technical college, and 1,000 secondary school, and therefore, Indian artisans and Chinese artisans, we build our homes. As we are standing, each of us here, we live foreign more than living Nigeria. If each of us stand up here and cost, where are the sources of the glasses I am wearing, the suit I'm wearing, the shoe I'm wearing, where are they from? How many Nigerians are living as Nigerians? We are all living as foreigners. We run an economy of dependency because we have lost education for literacy. And if we look at the NYC scheme we are running, throughout the year, the whole year could be used as a year of reorientation for people to have entrepreneurial education where vocational skills that will put food on their table will be given to them. But what do we do? What we do every day is to look at how we can get money for what we cannot afford and for what we cannot make. As long as we run education based on army of failures who are teachers, because that was the costly mistake we made during the universal primary education. Good policy, bad approach. We made education free and compulsory for all, but who are the teachers? Those who failed school SAT were made crash program. They run 1 year and 2 years, and by the time they come, they were teaching all subjects. How with failures?
Wind up, please. Wind up.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. OLADIMEJI ADEBAYO.
My name is ADEBAYO OLADIMEJI. I am a diasporan. I represent Europe, London to be precise. I would like to thank you, the chairman and his crew, for stabilizing the shape of this conference. And of course, as for Mr. President, I will refer to the fact that he has given us a way ahead to succeed. It's all in our hands, ladies and gentlemen, for us to succeed. The reason is because on page 7 of his address, he said to us, he called Presidential Advisory Committee to recommend to him a way forward to bring about a productive, that's the word on page 11, a productive national conference. And he went on page 11 to state categorically that this national conference should come out with consensus and suggest ways of making sure that this country can move forward by coming out with suggestions that will give legal and constitutional backing to our discussion. In other words, we should not worry. If we can get all these things sorted out, we leave it with him. Ladies and gentlemen, I won't go to all the needs of what we need in this country because it's all mentioned. You all know better than some of us. But as for the diasporans, our aspirations are not different from those of the aspirations of those in Nigeria. The point is, get security, and also get a vote for them. They'll be quite happy to come. I hope it's not my mic that switched off the light. That's a baptism for what goes on here, but I enjoy it. Now, let me now leave all these requests and come to what binds Nigerians. How Nigerians have always been their brothers and sisters' keepers. In 1974, Alhaji Rimi from Kano stood up in one of the congresses of Nigerian Students' Union. He was our treasurer. I was the vice president. And Adobe Aniboma was the president. And he said, Igbos, after the war, are suffering because they can't pay their school fees, they cannot pay living allowance. Let's send some people to Nigeria to find out how we can help them. People were sent home. General Gowon's administration said, when they got to Nigeria, they said, I need help here. I cannot commandeer money from the federal government. Go and see all the states of the Federation, 12 of them, and let them suggest how we can get some money from them to pay scholarship for these people. Will you believe it? All the northern states in 1974 surrendered all their excess scholarship money into the federal government to be able to pay all the fees and allowances of these Igbo students. Also in 1976, we have a problem with Bende. Bende is a miniature Nigeria. You can be any name in Bende land in those days.